Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here for the It's All Good Circle. Oh, my goodness. We had a little bit of fun just now before we started recording. It is Monday, September 29th, 2025. Most of you will be listening to this after the fact. And then there are several of us, as you can see right now, that are here for the juicy live version. I'm going to adjust my light because I seem to be, yeah, let's see if that gets that,
To do
get
that
this thing going on over here. All right. Anyway, um, so I'll just preface things by saying I don't know about any of you, but it's been a strange day for me. And, but here I am toward the end of my strange day, and it doesn't feel so strange. And
Good.
part of that is being here with all of you. Part of it is our guest this evening, who I'm going to introduce in a moment. Um, we have Stephanie and I have made our way back to Idaho, our home state. We're back in our barn dominium. We are just thrilled to be here. Not that, as you know, we love being on the road 11 and a half months last year and everything like that, but it's really nice to be here. I had oral surgery a few days ago, and I'm happy to say that I'm doing really well. Could be the Wave Watch. We had to talk about that a few minutes ago. Could be just good attitude, could be all of everything combined, and knowing and choosing to keep manifesting a reality where I'm not here to suffer. And so that all feels good. I did a post. I've given myself a new nickname, which is kind of fun. I don't wait for anyone else to give me a nickname. I give myself my own nicknames, and I'll read the introduction to my nickname. My intention is to create great value in our interaction and to enable your greatest dreams and desires for your life. I provide the loving support that you deserve. Signed, Dr. Dream, the Enabler. Okay. Now, this is great because most of us have a connotation of being an enabler as something completely different than what
Different
I'm
than
talking about. And so not only did I give myself a new, really fresh nickname, but I'm rewriting a like mainstream connotation. I'm rewriting that connotation,
yeah.
and it excites me, and it excites me to continue to state my why. And my why is the intention to be in service to every person that I come into contact with, and to be at the highest level of who I choose to be in each moment. And it keeps me smiling. It keeps me just moving through the other side of a strange day like I did today, and being right here and just being all like giddy and happy. And I don't want to say that every day is like this for me, but I'm going to say it. Every day is like this for me. Doesn't mean that every single moment is simple, or that I, don't hit the glitches. We all hit the glitches, but I take it for what it is. I own my part in it. I move that energy because that's the only energy I can move, and I get to the other side. And Monday nights, how special Monday nights and the It's All Good Circle are dedicated and committed community that just shows up and shows up and shows up, and like, you all joined me in the commitment of showing up on Monday nights to do this thing, to be there for each other, and to have it enrich the rest of our week. This leads me into the introduction of tonight's speaker. And she's not just tonight's wisdom presenter by any means. She is, starting to tear up.
Hmm.
Wow. She is one of the rocks, one of the jeez, okay, one of the truly consistent energies in my life. We're talking about it, and it's been over. Ooh, okay, this is unexpected. I apologize for this, or not apologize, just being with it. Um, Victoria has been that person in my life that for the last 20 plus years, when things got to a point that I didn't know how to move the energies, that I didn't know how to shift it, that I was not allowing myself to see the full picture, I would call Victoria. Her sessions are mostly all done over the phone. She has worked on, well, Deanna knows her, Destiny knows her, Stephanie knows her, have had said Terry, have all had sessions with her. Um, she's done sessions on my brother and my sister-in-law and my daughter, continued sessions with my daughter and my son-in-law. Uh, and we got smart and we just buy a bundle of sessions every January and then dole them out to our loved ones because she's a game changer and she continues to be that rock. And I mean, you can imagine my life over the last 21 years, maybe. I've created a lot of challenges for myself to learn from and to grow from, and I think in all of our lives there are times that we just can't do it alone, and Victoria plays that role, and she plays that role perfectly and wonderfully, and I just can't say enough. She's got the Center for Extraordinary Outcomes, and what a perfect name for her offering and what she does. She is an author and a publisher. She has 6 books. 3 of them were number one bestsellers. And so she's exceptional. I've done a podcast with her that is available. You can find on YouTube. And I asked her to be the wisdom presenter tonight for the It's All Good Circle, and in beautiful Victoria style was just yes, I will do that. And she's not I've sort of brought her into the whole Zoom world, I think, a little bit, and she's just perfect for it because she her she's Victoria Benoit. And so I could go on, and I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to let her do her presentation tonight, which is on a 9-step process direct from her book, "What Would Love Do Right Now?" And it's a beautiful book. She's a beautiful person, and this is something for all of us. If you did not download the PDF of the 9-step process, it is available on the site, itsallgood.com/circle. And you'll be able to download it there. If you're watching this on YouTube, well after the fact, the link is in the description. And it's the whole process. And so if you're watching it later on, you may want to pause right now, download it, print it out, and then sit there with it while she takes us through the process. And so I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone and have have Victoria come on and share her special magic with us. Victoria, welcome to the It's All Good Circle.
Well, thank you very much. What a heartwarming introduction, and I got really kind of teared up myself. So there you go. Oh gosh, where to start? Um, I want to start by just sharing with you some of the tenets or some of the philosophies that I come from, or the work I do comes from, and then we're going to get into that process. The tagline for the book would be A Guide to Living an Extraordinary Life. And the whole concept is it's difficult to live an extraordinary life if you are filled with unresolved issues from the past. And so I probably been working with people about 35 years, and I don't think any of us are really flawed or wounded. We may feel flawed or wounded from time to time, but in our essence, that is not who we are. And so, kind of like Michelangelo chipping away at the statue of David, I feel like I'm chipping away at everything that's not in your best interest or not serving you or getting in your way. And so the process I use is called mind-body repatterning, and it's based on vibration. So I know Vienna, you talked about that, or I think Daryl talked about the frequencies, and everything in life has its own frequency vibration. Love has a vibration, bankruptcy has a vibration, our thoughts, our feelings, everything has its own vibration. And the good news about frequencies is you can change them as easily as you can on a radio dial. Say you have a son and he took the car out and he's got hip hop on the radio and you want jazz, right? You either turn a knob, you press a button, or these days you probably say jazz and jazz shows up, right? And it's a totally different vibration than hip hop. Well, if we can do that with a radio dial, why can't we do that with our own body mind system? And so that's what we do. And so this process uses kinesiology, muscle checking, to just identify what the patterns are from the past that are holding you back from having what you want in life. Really, that's what I do. I think there's two things happening in life. One, we have something that we don't want, or we want something we don't have. Makes it really, really simple. And so I can work with either. So you don't have to have like a problem or a concern really to have any kind of session. I can align you like the law of attraction, that's a fabulous concept. You can write down your affirmations 10 times a day for 21 days, and that concept or that intention may start aligning. But why not do a quick little session and I can align you right at the frequency of what that intention is. And it doesn't mean that your intentions won't be fulfilled without a session. It's just it'll be quicker. It'll be more joyful, more, tangible, more exciting, maybe, if you are resonating with that. So the word that I use is resonance. So whatever you've got going on in your life, you're at the vibration of it. So why don't we find out what's going on, shift the vibration, and then at least it's possible to have a new life. It's not like a magic pill. I know I like magic pills myself. It's not quite like that, even though we do like those. And sometimes the sessions are absolutely magical. And so when after many years of doing this work, I thought, well, I want to impact more people. I do individuals, I do groups, but how can I impact more people? And I thought, oh, write a book, give that process away. It's not my process. I did not develop it. Chloe Faith Wordsworth developed this method that I've been using for 35 years. So I want to give her credit for it. But why not give the process away so that the reader can do this process in the privacy of their own home? And if they really get stuck, give me a call. But I think it's very empowering if you can do your own healing and your own kind of processing. And so let's see, I have a couple things. One thing that I do wanted to mention before I go through the process is, this concept of challenges and problems. There's a whole way that we can start looking at these challenges because the problem is just trying to get you something. And once you get what the problem is trying to get you to get, you wouldn't need the problem because the problem would have served its purpose. So if you can really start to look at any challenge that surfaces, any problem that you can't seem to, get rid of or whatever, and you can just sit with yourself and just say, all right, this happened 3 times this week. What are you trying to tell me? I am ready to hear what it is. Get that piece of paper out and just don't move and just wait until you get the answer, right? So, and then your life can be all about growth and transformation. That every challenge can just be for your benefit. And then once you can identify, like I said, the why, what it's trying to get you to get, then the problem would have served its purpose. So that was pretty much, I wanted to give you a little bit of a foundation of my why I wrote this book. Um, and and so I thought we'd just go into that 9-step process. And I'm hoping that you all have maybe a piece of paper. You probably wouldn't need one, but sometimes it's nice. Thank you, Vienna. And so I thought, well, we'd just go back to, let me back up just a minute. So this book, this is the book. It's called What Would Love Do Now? A Guide to Living an Extraordinary Life. And it's based, I have the reader look at different areas of their life. So I'm just going to go right into the table of contents here. It's like, um, so we can work with our parents. I think that if you have a good relationship with your parents, or if you have resolved or come to terms with your relationship with your parents, wow, what a life you can have, really. And so one of the first topics would be clearing issues with your parents. And then with others, it could be the gardener, I mean, anyone really, just others in your life. So that's the topic that we're going to work with today. So I can keep, because everyone's got their own little other person that maybe there's an incident from the past that they want to heal. So I thought we'd do that tonight. But just to let you know, there's about romantic relationships. We go and kind of go into healing some of the traumas or upsets, the disappointments in our relationships. Because if you're wanting to have a new relationship and you come to that relationship with all the baggage of all the relationships you've been in or whatever, all that unresolved stuff, I mean, you got a huge wall between the new person and they don't even have a chance with you, really, because you have all this unresolved. So that would be one area. And then professional, the work relationships. I go into your health, like nutrition, exercise, things like that, and finances. And then the next one is self-expression. And then I go into all the things that trigger us. So if we can identify as we're going through life, what's triggering me and where did that come from? And so I have a whole chapter on that. And then after you've gone through all these areas, then you have the freedom to create an extraordinary life. Unfinished business, maybe we'll call it, unconscious patterns that are preventing you from having what you want. And so we go through, a guide to living an extraordinary life. And then you get to just identify, the type of life you have. And then I have the reader do a little, like what do you call it? Treasure map or whatever. So it's right there. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a, overview of the book. Okay, so I thought it would be good to just clear something from another person that has been bothering us. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the question. You can go ahead and write it down. And then I'm going to give you an example right from my book about how I use this. Well, I have to share something funny. So when I was writing this book, my editor says, Victoria, you have to put some of your dirty laundry in your book. I said, I can't, I will not, and you can't make me. She said, well, readers like to know that you are human, that you're not just writing this book thinking your nose is in the sky and you're better than everybody else. So for every single chapter, I have how I use this process in my personal life. And so it gives you a chance then to just gives you an example on how to use this in the different areas. So the first question, da, 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 ready? What incident happened between you and another person when you were growing up that you want to heal? And I wouldn't censor anything. Whatever pops up, even if you think you've worked with it before lots of times, if there may be another little piece to it. I'll share mine. I am 14 years old at a family gathering in my father's hometown. My aunt takes one look at me and says in front of everyone, "Oh my God, you're as white as a ghost. You look like a floozy. Who did your makeup? It looks horrible." So that was my incident. So it doesn't have to be really that long, but my girlfriend kissed my boyfriend or, something like that. So just wanting to give you a time to identify one. Of course, you can do this a little bit later as well, but I want to make sure that I've given you enough time. Does everyone have an incident that they want to work with? Maybe you can raise your hand so I kind of know. You need a little bit more time, Gail? Um,
I've been working on this so long, I don't know what else I can
okay,
work
well,
on.
okay. All right. I mean, the one that you wanted to work on tonight, you've worked on a long time, or you can't think of another one?
No, I've worked on a lot of different things and I can't think of anything else
You
to work
can.
on.
Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe perhaps in a couple of minutes one will pop up and you can back up. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So the second question is, how do I feel emotionally, mentally, physically, or spiritually at the time? So how did I feel? Well, I felt emotional. I felt embarrassed, angry, and humiliated. Mentally, I felt attacked, confused, and shocked. And this was in front of everybody. We were like a family gathering. Physically, I felt sweaty, flushed, and tense in my stomach. And spiritually, I felt dirty somehow. So you want to identify the feeling that you had in that incident. And you don't really have to have a feeling in all of those four areas, but you can take a look and see, God, how did I feel mentally? Oh, I felt confused or stuck or unfocused or emotionally. You can identify the emotion there. All right, you ready for the next question? Yep, okay. So the next question is, if anything, what did I think about saying or doing that I didn't say or do? And I said, mind your own business. You don't look so good yourself. So that was my aunt. Okay. That's what I felt like saying, but I did not say it. So this is a really good way to kind of get all your, just getting it out on paper. So if anything, what did you think about saying or doing, but didn't say or do? Okay. Does everyone have something? Okay, great. All right. And just let me know if I'm going too fast for someone and we can stop. But the next question is very, very important because we come to conclusions about ourselves, about others, about men, about women, about finances, about spirituality, about health, work, all kinds of things based on this one event, right? So I'm going to ask you, so in this incident, and we had those feelings, what did you conclude about yourself because this happened? And I'll read you mine just for an example. I don't know what looks good. I'm not appropriate. I'm an embarrassment. I can't get anything right. My best is not good enough. So those are some examples from my incident. And I think this is the most important one. I'm going to go through the whole list, but boy, anytime we can identify what we made that mean about ourselves, at the conclusion we came to about ourselves, it feels so real at the time, but it may not be true. And it probably is not true. But at that time, it's what a conclusion we came to. This is exactly what we want to clear. The next one, if it pertains to your incident, would be, what did you conclude about girls or about women? What did you make that mean about women? Women are, girls are, or something like that. Mine was, women are jealous of me. Okay, the next one is, what did you come to believe about others? Could be siblings, playmates, relatives, adults. Mine, it was relatives are know-it-alls. People are mean and hurtful. People put me down in front of others. So if I'm at that vibration, guess what's going to happen? People are going to put me down in front of others all, throughout my whole life, right? Until I clear it. So what would yours be? Anything about others related to your incident? And of course, there's no right answer here. Just kind of let something surface. And then the next one, oh, I think I left one out. I left one out. We'll do it now. Any conclusions you have about boys or men, especially if the incident had to do with you know, a boy or a man. So what did you come to believe about men or boys from your incident? And then this next one is about, what did you conclude about like other areas of your life? What did you come to believe about relationships based on what happened? Or what did you come to believe about money, about health, about work, time, fun, whatever your incident was, if there's any extra belief or conclusion that you came to, and we want to release that negative belief. And you can always come back to this a little bit later as well. And I wrote, I can't trust those close to me. So I was really close to my aunt. And at 14 for me, it was such a, you're just trying to find your way, and it's like, gosh, thought I was looking pretty good, with but I did have, my makeup was a little bit white. It was, you know, but I didn't know it. She could have, well, I'll get into the results later. And then the next one is, what did you come to believe about life because this happened? What conclusion did you come to about life? And you may not have answers for all of these, but the ones that pertain is really important to identify. All right, so now we're going to go to the resolution. So we've identified the event, how you felt, what you wanted to say or do that you didn't, and the conclusions that you came to. Now, here's the question. How do the conclusions that you drew and any feelings that you're still holding on to, like shame, blame, guilt, anger, envy, frustration, resentment, or regret, how does that impact your life today? So what are these conclusions? How is that manifesting in your life today? I'll give you an example of mine. I'm still holding on to shame for wanting to look good. I consistently question if the choices I make are right and appropriate for the circumstances to ensure that I will never be publicly humiliated again. So you know how much energy that takes to do that? A lot of energy. So this is what we're wanting to get to. So how is that affecting your life today? Or what does it keep you from doing that you really want to do? Would be another way to look at it. So how do the conclusions that you drew and those feelings impact your life today? That's a question. All right. Does anyone need more time? You good? All right. Okay, so the next one is, what did you need in this situation? What did you need physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually? So what did you need back then that you didn't get? So I'll share mine. Emotionally, I needed acknowledgement and love. Mentally, I needed not to be judged in public. Physically, I needed some hands-on tips for applying makeup suitable to my age, right? And spiritually, I needed compassion and understanding. So those are the things that I want to resonate with, right? So again, what did you need physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually in this situation? There's a lot that you needed. I would just write them all down. Okay, the next question is, in an ideal world, what could the other person or the people involved, what could they have said or done that would have made a positive difference for you? In an ideal world, what could the other person or people have said or done that would have made a positive difference for you? And I'll share mine, give you an example. My aunt could have pulled me aside and said, quote, I notice you're wearing makeup now. You are turning into a beautiful young lady. If you want to, we can get together while you're in town and I can give you some pointers about makeup so you can look even better. So if a 14-year-old girl, me, would have loved that, right? So what could, in your situation, it's kind of like reframing what really happens so that you can resonate what usually the little girl or little boy inside you really needed and then wanted. So what could have they said or done that would have made a positive difference? So like, what did you want instead of what you heard or what they did? Yeah. And there's no right answer, of course. You just wanted what you wanted and needed what you needed, right? Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to do, all of this is information, and now we want to change that radio dial a bit, right? So we're going to go ahead and do this, and I'm just going to, um, so coming, I want you to drop down into your heart now and just take a few deep breaths in your heart area, into the nose and out through the nose. And allow yourself to breathe deeply and be open to love, compassion, forgiveness. And again, forgiveness is not what happened was okay. It simply means you're no longer willing to carry anything negative from this situation, so you can let it go. So now, coming from love, I'm going to have you say the following affirmation 3 times while tapping over your heart center, your heart chakra, right in here. And we'll have you say, I now release myself from the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual effects of this incident and heal my heart. I now release myself from the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual effects of this incident and heal my heart. I now release myself from the physical, emotional, mental and spiritual effects of this incident and heal my heart. And then just give yourself time to integrate that. Or if you need to say it in your own words that works better for you than what I came up with, go for it. Yeah. And just take a few integrating breaths. And I always think when we do a process like this, that we actually acknowledge the difference that we feel. So just by doing this, how do you feel differently? And so I'll give you, when I did this, how I felt differently. Emotionally, I now feel special, cared for, and loved because my aunt took me to the side, right? And she said, "Oh, let me give you some tips. You're kind of new at this, and let me help you." Oh, I would have been open to help, right? Mentally, I feel guided and encouraged. Physically, I feel centered and serene. And then spiritually, I now feel beautiful and accepted. So that's what I came up with. So you can identify, notice how you feel differently just by doing that. And that's one of the million probably incidences that have happened, over your lifetime. And then the last part is it's under the category of action. And this is where the title of the book comes in. So, what would love do right now in the present in how I experience my relationship with other people? So, what would love do right now? And so, my answer was with forgiveness in my heart, I will send my aunt a card with current photos and an update about my life. I will let her know that I am eager to hear about her life. So, or it could be, especially when you identify how that incident have been affecting your life now, and then you shift that, wow, well, I can be more compassionate, or I can be more forgiving, or it could be, I'm not going to hang out with that person anymore because they, aren't good for me or whatever. Yeah. And then I want to conclude with, well, I would love to hear from people. I'm not sure if that's okay, Dr. Dream, to ask other people how they experience this. And then I have one more final thing to say after that. Well, I've got a lot to say, but I'll keep it to one thing. All right, so would anyone like to share? I know this is it sounds like you are all pretty, um, what do I want to say? You've done a lot of your own work, but sometimes, and it may have been a little simple for a few of you, but I just want to know how it impacted you, if anyone would like to share.
So I didn't have something that came to mind immediately
Mhm.
that was like old. I had something yesterday,
Ah,
and I have been, it's taken up a lot of bandwidth, and I've been really, really, really angry. Um, and I felt tremendously disrespected.
Mm,
And so this kind of helped me sort of put it in perspective. Um, but basically the gist of it is that um, if there is not a change from this person,
Right.
I will withdraw my support 100% from this organization. I'm done. I've watched him do this to other people, and they all they sort of disappear. They go away,
Right.
but he never fixes it
Mhm.
because nobody seems to have the strength to call him an asshole.
Yeah. Well, or approach him or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
And so all these super nice people are being really polite and backing away from it. And I am about as nice as they come, but he backed me into a corner and I think he's going to die. Or, I think he's going to be absolutely shocked that that is how his um, words came off,
Yeah.
because I'm absolutely sure that he is unaware of how offensive he
He can.
was.
Right. Yeah.
And he wasn't just offensive to me. And I for a while I thought it was just me, but,
Right.
but um, so this helped me clarify. Would this work very effectively for something from 5 years old? Yes. I worked on most of that stuff, so
Yeah.
nothing came up on the moment.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
that's good. I mean, yesterday is old, so it's good. Very good. I'm glad that you had some relief from that and you have the
yeah,
courage to speak up. And then you also have a plan that if it's, to release yourself from the uh,
yeah.
well, abuse almost, it sounds almost abusive.
Right. And I did not speak up yesterday because I was so shocked by what he'd said.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to get it written down and figure out what words I want to use. And then I'm going to send him a letter and send a carbon copy to the board,
Very good.
because they need to know. Most of them were witness to it, so they know what's going
Yeah.
on.
Good. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Gail. Very good. Anyone else want to
I'm
share?
gonna I'm gonna just dive right in.
Okay.
I've done so much work with you over the years and everything, and what came up when with this was not one particular thing, but just the series of fighting that my brother and I did when we were younger.
Mm,
And wow, I thought, oh yeah, I'll just play this game with it, and I had no idea how deep it was going to go, and it all has to do with me just wanting to be loved and respected.
mhm.
And I've done a lot of work on stuff with my brother over the years because I don't have a big family, and I definitely feel lighter and a sense of feeling more loved and respected. And then the action then becomes that I would never want anyone to feel less love and respect, that we all deserve so much love and respect. And so it even gave me more of a desire to love and respect everyone in my world, and
Beautiful.
to, you know,
Mhm.
not be in judgment, and just to allow that love and respect to be ever present. And so, wow, I did not
Beautiful.
know that this was going to happen.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm not sure how long these usually go. Do we have time for someone else to share?
You
Uh,
bet we do. That's what this is all about.
okay. If anyone wants to, you don't have to, but it really, you can see just by a couple of the sharing already, it really, helps to hear, oh yeah, my brother. Oh, I could do something on him too. Yeah, I was talking about me. I've got a brother.
I would I would share.
Oh, Phil. Okay, great.
So interestingly enough, yes, the brother came up.
Hmm.
Um, but then that kind of went to the background, and my brother came up because he's about close to 4 years older, and he used to lock me in the dark closet.
Hmm.
And that was kind of the game. And I resolved and forgiven him for his ignorance. Um, that being said, I had an Uncle Jack,
Mm,
and my Uncle Jack was military.
mm,
And there was an incident where, with Jack Jr., we were moving a picnic table. And I never got in so much trouble in my life for moving a table the
okay.
wrong way.
Ooh.
But that stuck with me
Hmm.
forever.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting that when you put this to task, that really came up. And then it was okay. So control,
Mm,
all these different things that, as I look at my life now, that I don't want to be. And it's
right.
interesting because what I've come to learn is that I was put through these things to become the person I am. And so it was part of the journey. And I mean, for a while, when I thought of Jack, I thought of a donkey.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
and I just went jackass.
Mhm.
Um, and, I mean, I did not have respect for this man. Now I can forgive him. Um, but at the same time, I can bless him for what he gave me, was that whole thing to totally dislike that. And so now it's almost empowering that I had that experience, because it's like, how cool is that? I got to move through that and learn from it. So yeah,
Beautiful.
it's good. So
Beautiful.
thank you.
Yep. Oh, you're so welcome. And I know that sometimes, you know, as we're going through our healing and we like to be bigger than what happened and do the forgiveness, but I feel like it's the little wounded girls and little wounded boys in ours that really need to have the resolution in there, not just the maturity of the adult that says, well, you know, I got the lesson or whatever, which is really good to come to, but sometimes we need to do a little bit more of that healing with the little girl and little boys that live within
If
us.
I can if I can interject with that.
Sure.
So as you were saying that, I'm like, okay, am I over that? I don't really think so.
Mm.
I think I can say or think I'm over it, but am I really going deep enough to really release the harm that I, maybe had from it?
Right.
Um, I don't know.
Well,
That'll be interesting because
yeah. And what you may want to do when you get the form is redo this incident from the age that you were.
I was trying to think of that, and it's like I'm not exactly sure what age that was, but it was probably between 8 and 10.
Yeah. So,
Um,
yeah. And so
so
then,
it was certainly formative years.
yeah, formative years. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I would suggest to do that. Or, if you have, um, I mean, you can schedule an appointment or,
Right, right, right.
whatever you do to because repatterning that I do is not the only thing out there. There are many, many, many different methods, and so I would rather have you choose the method that works for you than it have to be with me. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you're always welcome to call.
Thank you.
But I would do it. I think it's very empowering to do this on your own. That's why I wrote this book so that I could, just give me a call if you have a problem and if you can't quite get to it. And because it is very empowering when you can go from feeling stuck to free. Yeah. And the one
Thank
thing
you.
I was going to mention, thank you, Phil. The one
Thank
thing I
you.
was going to mention, and we can have someone else share if you want to, but um, I think we are way more powerful than we know ourselves to be. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of an example. Um, if you're in a situation um, and you just feel like you need a shift, you can take, like I'm going to use Dr. Dream's um, rose oil, but you can take anything. You can use that. I've got some essential oils that everyone's familiar with. And if you just say, I am going to smell this rose frequency 3 times, and it's going to get me out of my depression, or it's going to, if you can just state what you're going to do, for what reason, I really believe it works just because you said you are going to do this because of this. And it can be something little. There's all many things. You can do the tapping. I'm going to tap on my heart chakra, and this is going to center me in my heart. So when I have this interview, I'm going to be centered in my heart and I'm going to be truthful. Or, I mean, there's hundreds of modalities. So I just wanted to remind you all of how powerful you are to make changes in your own life, even if it's just as simple as smelling some rose oil.
I love that, Victoria, like setting the intention and then having a modality to, like anchor, lock, and seal it, and it's just like, okay, I'm going to do this right now, and this is what it's going to do for me. Or
Right,
obviously, I'm a big
right,
fan of the rose oil and everything, and
right.
it's a beautiful thing. I do want to read, Destiny's having some connection issues tonight, so she typed in the chat, and I would like to read what she wrote.
Okay.
I used an example from my past that I thought I had worked on and was at peace with. But these questions really helped me realize how deeply this incident actually shaped me and my perspective of myself and how I show up in the world.
Hmm.
Seeing the impact of the incident, I hope and believe will allow me to show up more authentically every day and release the need to hide my mistakes or to be seen in a certain light. So I just wanted to give voice to that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Destiny. That was beautiful. Yeah, so getting back to so in other words, I don't have to take my whole arsenal of all my oils in my purse. I take one thing. I keep this in my purse and that's all. So if I'm I don't know, I witnessed a car accident and I'm all stressed out, I get my oil out and say, okay, I'm going to breathe this oil right now and it's going to calm me down. I pull over, take care of myself or whatever, depending on how stressful it was. But I have a remedy right with me. So I encourage you it doesn't have to be a big, huge acupuncture session. It can be, or it just because you say. So, and I'm not any different than anyone else here, regardless. I am as powerful as I know myself to be, and so are you. So I just wanted to, just inspire you that you are powerful. Uh, does anyone have any questions? Uh, no? Oh, you do?
Nobody.
Okay, go
Vienna,
ahead.
you do? Go ahead.
Victoria, how can other people get on your email list? I find your Thursday, what do you call it?
Oh, Thursday, Modality
Yeah,
Thursday?
Modality Thursday.
Yeah.
What you give there is just whew, so
Oh,
beautiful. So I think
yeah.
everyone should have that opportunity to have access.
Yes, so I have a website. It's extraordinaryoutcomes.com, and I think it's under contact. You can sign up for the newsletter. And I don't I just do one thing a week. I don't bombard people. But that's what I've been doing now, or I talk about my monthly specials. But those are the only two things that yeah, thank you. Yeah. And then just to let you know, I wrote another book and it's in a series after this one. It's called Three Magical Words for a Magical Life. And if you are going to have a magical life, what three words, like in a row, what three words do you think would help you to have a magical life? This is a question I'm asking someone if they have an answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Allow, trust, and surrender.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, they're not I love you. A lot of people say, oh, I love you. You know, those are the three magical words, but they're actually I am sorry. So this is very similar to the first book in that I have the reader go back in their life and do more of I talk about the different aspects of forgiveness and doing amends so that you can free yourself up through forgiveness. And one of the things that helped me so much in my journey to forgiveness is what Doreen Virtue had in one of her fairy cards. And it was, and I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. It's like, it's not what you did is not okay. But it simply means I am no longer willing to carry around the pain in response to that event. And so the forgiveness is about you. Okay. And so that helped me in my process of doing that. So, and this is all through visualization. So, you know, you may want to hear from your father that he's sorry, but he's passed or he's incapable of giving an apology, right? And so you can do it in the privacy of your own home. Just imagine your father's in front of you. You're 6 years old or whatever. You really pretend that you're six as much as you can. See yourself in that little dress or that little, you know, whatever. And then just really hearing him saying it. So that's what this book is all. So just wanted to let you know that there's more. Susie?
So I've done like 50 years of many modalities, and every one of them have helped. And even going through this little exercise, it's amazing that there's still things and feelings and emotions that still are evoked out of doing this exercise. And I'm going, oh wow, that's really interesting. And so, you know, it really doesn't matter. Every day there's more that just, you know, comes up to die with each exhale,
Hey,
so to
there you
speak.
go. I love that. Yeah.
And Brandon Bays she was one of the modalities that I did, and it was a campfire, and you rewrite the story, and you rewrite the people, and you write it the way that you
Yeah,
would have
right.
liked it to come out, and your some of your questions are exactly that. It's like how would this be if it was different, and I love that. So it's like it doesn't matter how many modalities I've done. It's like there's always, you know, stuff still hiding in the corners that
Yeah.
you know, you never go backwards, you just keep evolving. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Anything else anyone want to share? I at the bottom of the PDF is my contact information. You can call me if you have any questions. You don't have to have an appointment to call me. I'm very available. Just answer any questions or, you know, so I like to be available. So, but I can give you my phone number. It's 602 864 7662. The website is extraordinaryoutcomes.com. And then if you're interested in my books, it's extraordinaryoutcomespublishing.com. And then my email address is just victoria@extraordinaryoutcomes.com. So,
Could I ask a question? Do you know Saima and her community of people?
do.
I went to friend you, and I saw a bunch of people that I know, and so I just thought I tried, I have a friend request out to you.
Oh, okay, good. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I used to do work with her. Yeah, quite a bit. I went to her Healing the Family Systems training or healing. It was fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. Well, you have any other questions or sharing you want to do? Anyone? Not, we can roll up the carpet.
Well, Victoria, I want to thank you so very much for bringing this process, sharing this process with us, sharing just who you are with us. Your work goes so deep, and Stephanie and I are always saying how beautiful it is that we get to share, the real aspects of us that we don't talk to maybe the rest of the world about. And all it's, oh my goodness, all it's greeted with is just pure love from you and acceptance and understanding and everything. And anyone that reaches out to you will certainly feel that. And this is why I created the It's All Good Circle, was really to, have us get together and have us be seen and be heard and be loved and be accepted, and to learn things together and to know we're not alone. And I just thank you for that. Part of the beautiful person that I know I am today, your work allowed to come out, and that's awesome. So not only have you touched people just directly the way you touch people with your books and everything else, but there's an aspect of you touching people through me. And I think that that's something for us all to remember, that when we show up in the beautiful ways that are possible, the infinite possibilities of how we can show up beautifully in this world, that it doesn't really stop at the person that we're sharing that with the person we're showing up for. It goes out, and we never know, how far that ripple goes. And it's amazing. And I look at each person that's here right now, Daryl Virginia Dennis, who in a very short amount of time has had a huge impact on me. Susie Casaro and her writings and what she shares on a daily basis, absolutely beautiful. Gail, who has shown up for me at many, many beautiful times, and just in very beautifully bold ways has stepped up and said, "Hey, listen, stop, take a breath. Let's go through a little process." Vienna, who just had a call with her this morning, and just she has been there for me, and wonderful podcast with her. Phil, who like absolutely consider him a brother, and at times he's been my bodyguard. Mia, a Facebook friend who just we've connected, and there's so much more connection for us to do. Of course, Jane and Terry at the EE System Countryside Scalar Center in Whitewater, Kansas, were partners, and beyond being partners, we are deeply connected friends, and that friendship continues to show me what it's like to have a true friend or true friends. Of course, my wife, Stephanie, who in each and every single moment reminds me the beauty of humanity. And Destiny, who is Stephanie's best friend, and I've been able to watch their friendship and relationship, and then develop my own friendship and relationship with Destiny. And Karen, who is consistently here, and kind of the quiet one, but holding space, as it were, for all of us. And I just it's it's kind of a crazy world out there. And as I look at this checkerboard of beautiful faces and energies and and just allow myself to feel the impact that you each in your own ways have had on me and who I am and who I continue to work on becoming in my life. This is the It's All Good circle. This is what I've always wanted it to be about. And it's the world's not so crazy on Monday nights. You know, the world is a beautiful place when we all show up here, and I'm just like, wow, you know, this gives me hope. And I said before, today was a little bit of a crazy day for me. And then to end it like this, you know, on the highest of notes, on the most expansive of notes, on the reaffirmation of the greatest aspects of what it means to be human, and what that means to me is connection. And that's what I've always wanted, you know, and to be connected and to share love and to assist people on all the levels. And you all are that for me, and I thank you all so much. Um, Now, this is that place where, you know, I asked a couple of weeks ago, and Vienna said, I said, you know, who should we have on next? And Vienna said, oh, get Victoria Benoit. I just read her Thursday thing, and it was so powerful. And here's Victoria. So we're pretty powerful in, you know, what we ask for here. Ask and you shall receive. We don't have a planned person yet for next week. We could come up with a topic right now that we would all like to talk about, speak of, and share about next week. We could throw some names out, and I can do my magic and with your magic behind it, see if we can get them on here. So I'd like to just open it up. This circle is for all of us, and where would we like to go next week?
So this is something I'm kind of dealing with since the collective is so angry. Anger is showing up, it's resonating in me, and it's showing up with every person I know. So maybe we can just have kind of a roundtable discussion of how to look at our own feelings of anger that are coming, that are in, they're sort of being triggered by what's happening outside, and how we can make other choices in the moment. You know, since I'm so deeply dealing with this right now, I'm probably not a good one to talk on it because I still have a lot to learn. But you know, and I don't know anybody that doesn't have something going on that wasn't going on a year ago, and that life is a little more chaotic now because of what's happening in the outer world. So maybe we can kind of brainstorm, share what's working for us to drag our attention back and over here where we want to be, right? We want to be happy and peaceful and functioning, as opposed to gritting our teeth and stuff like that. So what do you guys think?
I love it.
I
I
like to, okay, I like to add something I learned. I used to teach anger management groups, and I'm just going to give one little piece. I sing in a choir on Monday nights. I've been doing that for 7 or 8 years, so it's a little bit of a conflict on, you know, the circle or that, but um, there's always something under the anger, like betrayal. I feel humiliated, I feel embarrassed. I feel disrespected, dishonored. And if you can just name those and then focus on healing those feelings that are underneath the anger, then the anger won't need to escalate to rage, and all that. So I don't think that I'm going to be here next week. But that would be just I used to say 2 cents worth, but now it's $2,000.
And you're worth every penny of that $2,000.
Okay.
I like the concept, like moving through anger, owning our peace. Something like that. I think that we've got plenty of resources here amongst us.
Mhm.
And so I think this would be fun for us to do. And I certainly can, relate to that energetic at times, as much as I don't want to admit I can relate to that energetic at times.
Yeah.
So does everyone feel pretty good about that? It sounds like a good thing. You'll show up next week for it. I bet Daryl will have some beautiful insights for us as one of our resource people. So yeah, I love that. Let's absolutely do that. Thank you, Gail.
Mhm.
Now we're near the closing. I like to end everything on time. I think that's a good quality. Daryl, you undid your microphone. I saw that. Jump in.
I know. So I just said I'm already exploding about next week. I won't sleep for a week now, thanks to it's really a super huge issue, Gail. It's so big, and our freedom is in accomplishing what your wish is. Do you know what I mean? So I can't wait for next week. The Quantum Living book was written with that whole intent in mind. Do you know what I mean? Like how do you be free from those kinds of negativities? We could say it like that.
Mhm.
It is a how-to in essence. Well, so anyway, I'm just bursting. And also I do want to thank Victoria if I have a moment to do so, because also the most important part of the Quantum Living Moving at the Speed of Life book has to do with living intuitively,
Mhm.
because we don't need the rational mind's pace, which is slower, to make decisions. And intuition is like a divine connected information source, connected to our soul and connected to
Mhm.
God. And so, but the challenge, and which is what I was loving about your work, is the challenge is for people to feel worthy enough to listen to their intuition.
Mhm.
You see? And so what your work is this, now I'm going to cry, but what your work is about is freeing people from self-judgment, from disappointing circumstances, or from circumstances where they were harmed. And especially in children age, harm means, well, there must be something bad about me,
All right.
because grown-ups are supposed to love me. My friends' parents love them. So then they start to form an unworthy thing early on. So then when you have a large population that is signed up for I'm little with no power, but they're going to need their intuition to move into the fifth dimension, but they're not listening to it. You see what I'm saying? So you are contributing enormously to the releasing of that self-judgment, and that's going to make me cry. That's so magnificent that you're doing that, and I'm grateful for all you're doing for that, because it's got to be top on the list of important
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
significant. So thank you yeah, I know I am crying. Thank you for what you do for so many. And thank you for Vienna, is she still there? You are, for suggesting
Yeah.
Victoria coming, and Dr. Dream for your beautiful introduction also. It was this lovely, heartfelt. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Daryl. Vienna, before we sign off for another Monday night, I saw your hand raised.
Yes, I've got a 30-second. Just wanted to say that a bonus that I really appreciated from my session with Victoria was that's those ongoing things. Sometimes you go, what was that? But this one, she sent a PDF of things that we'd written together. What do you call them? The
Positive affirmations. I think.
Yes, that's it. And they're so powerful because they're not random. They're not, she's like, what? And here's an idea. What would you do with this? What would you say about this? And so it was just perfect. So thank you for that.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Victoria, again.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. We create a beautiful space for us to connect each week and have this opportunity to just be free together and to free up whatever is keeping us from being free. I love you all so very much and am blessed to have you in my life experience. And I'm here for you at any time. You know that I'm here to create value and to be in service to all our interactions. Thank you all for being here. Another really wonderful It's All Good Circle, and we will be together again next week. Have a wonderful 7 days until we meet up again. Thank you. I love
Thank-
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Paul.
Love you all. Thank you.
Bye.